Hey everyone, today I'm going to give you a quick tour on how to best use the CollabScore calculator. This way you can see what your score might be and where some areas for potential improvement are. All right, so right now we're going to do a quick overview on how to best use the CollabScore calculator for Robin. So on the right hand side, this is where you're going to put all of your inputs. And if you hit this little eye up here, this is a preview of what we're really measuring. So the workplace occupancy, how busy is your office? Ad hoc collaboration is the workplace facilitating those more spontaneous interactions across teams. And then the planned collaboration, are people coming to the office and meeting together, or are they coming to the office and sitting on Zoom calls all day alone at their desk or alone in a meeting room? So let's get started. On the right-hand side, this first segment, this is probably really easy to get this information. How many floors you have, workstations, phone booths, things like that. Let's just give ourselves 2 floors just for fun. Workplace policy. This is also a guideline that is likely really accessible, but you can also play around with how different policies might impact your results after you've gone through the process. So for us, I'm going to say 2 days a week. This seems to be the most common today. Now, workplace culture, this and occupancy are where it might be most helpful to do a little bit of extra fact finding for your organization. So do people sit alone or do they sit together? On the sliding scale, you can get a visual sense of this. Sitting alone, this just means taking advantage of as many of the workstations as possible. Sitting together means, hey, are our teams really getting close to each other and really all working from the same area and they're ignoring empty workstations? Most organizations, about 25% of all workstation usage is alone right now, which is pretty high. Most organizations are right around this range where they tend to try to take advantage of most of the pods of desks. You can see again, if you were to take a lap around your office, what looks most like your space. I'm going to say this is the most common, where maybe 1 or a couple pods per floor. Now onto workplace culture. This is where it's probably going to be most valuable to do a little bit of fact finding. So if people are sitting alone versus always together, most of the time it's right around this range. About 25% of the time that workstations are in use, they're alone. So 1 person at a whole pod of desks. So people spreading out as much as possible. And at the top end here, you can see teams really concentrating. If you were to walk around your space, just take a glimpse, see how many of your overall pods are totally empty and how many people are working pretty closely together. This should give you a sense of where they lie on the scale. And same thing with meeting rooms. So remote meetings are 1 person at the office sitting on a virtual call and they're the only person there. Everyone else is virtual, which happens. It's also going to happen even at this high end of the scale. Every meeting is going to be a distributed meeting for the most part, but are most of your meetings happening where you might as well just have a sea of phone booths, or are more people coordinating where they have a few people in person in a distributed meeting? And those are the meetings that are really powerful because you can maximize that in-person energy and potential for collaboration in those distributed meetings and throughout the day in your office. Most people want to be in this right-hand side here. And if you were, again, to take a walk around your office, just get a sense how many of these meeting rooms are 1 person in that meeting right now and everyone else is virtual versus multiple people in the space. You can get a sense of kind of this workplace culture and how you're balancing the in-person versus your resources at hand. And then occupancy, we have a sliding scale per day of the week, but you can likely get a lot of this information if you were to have access to the badge information that most teams are using right now when it comes to measuring office usage. And you can use this sliding scale. Again, it gives you a sense as you slide it. You'll notice in the bottom here, we'll change which day you're getting a preview of. So at Robin, we have an anchor day on Mondays. So we usually have pretty high occupancy on Mondays. Tuesday's all right, Wednesday is lower, and then Thursday is pretty high. Friday is pretty slow as well. This is pretty indicative of what our work week looks like. But again, if you can get that accurate information from your badging system or from your building, it'll help inform the score even better. And then when we calculate it, what we'll do is we'll grade this across the thousands of spaces that Robin manages today. and we'll put you on this index. So you're on the 63rd percentile and you can see a little bit of a breakdown of each of these segments. We have a nifty sharing process, so you can either just send a link, or if you want to be a little bit more fun, we're big fans of Wordle, you can send a more fun way here. And then lastly, if you wanted to get a full analysis, you can just drop in your email and we generate this full kind of custom result page. So you can get a deeper understanding of how we powered this score. So hopefully this was a helpful overview on how to use the calculator today. And if you use Robin, this calculator is actually automated. So the score updates every single night and we can take care of all your other workplace management needs. But this is a great way to get started, just to get a sense of where your team is at and some potential places for improvements. All right, so I hope that was a helpful overview on how to get started with the CollabScore calculator. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or leave a comment below, and we'll see you soon.